Hello everyone, my name is Andy Hopper and I'm a solutions architect here at Shippo. Today, we're going to look at how you can use the Shippo SDK to integrate Shippo's services into your own application. For this video, we're going to use the SDK for JavaScript, but we'll also have other videos in our channel for languages like Python, C#, and Java. Let's get started. I have a standard console application for Node.js that I've created in Visual Studio Code. Obviously, your own application code is probably going to be a lot more complicated than Hello World, but this is a decent starting point to walk you through the process. The very first thing we'll need to do is add a reference to the Shippo SDK for JavaScript. We publish our SDK to the standard NPM channels, and all you'll need to do is search for the word Shippo. Alright, now that we've added our package, we're ready to start coding. In order to use the SDK, we'll need to create an SDK object. This is an object named Shippo, and it's provided by the Shippo package. You'll need to supply an API token, which you can obtain from the Shippo API portal. For this demo, I'm using a test token that I generated earlier. Okay, so let's create a shipment. The shipment service is a child of the SDK object, and to create a shipment, we'll be calling the create method. One thing you might notice is that this method is async. This is the pattern you'll see in the JavaScript and TypeScript SDKs. We're making network calls here, so we've made them all use Node.js's native async await capabilities. Now, to create a shipment, you need at least three things. You need a shipper address, which we set in the address from property, a destination address, which we set in address to, and a list of the parcels being delivered in the shipment. And one thing you'll notice here is in the parcels, I'm supplying dimensions as well as weight and units for both that distance and the mass. I'm using metric units here, but you are also able to use imperial units such as feet, inches, pounds, ounces, that sort of thing. So let me illustrate a best practice. So I've created a shipment object, and what I'm going to do is log the object ID of that shipment in my logging mechanism, in this case writing it to the console. In general, you want to do this whenever you've created an object against the Shippo backend. If you ever need to reach out to Shippo's technical support, having this object ID is very handy. Now that we've created our shipment, it's time to go rate shopping. By default, when you create a shipment and don't supply an existing rate, Shippo will fetch a set of rates that are offered for your available carriers for the package destination, dimensions, and weight. These rates will be for a given carrier, the service level that carrier is using, and then the price. All these are returned in the rates properties of the returned shipment. And let's go ahead and write out the list of rates that we received. So what I'm doing here is I'm just walking the set of rates that I got in the shipment object. Again, I'm writing out the object ID of the rate, and then I proceed to write out the provider, in this case the carrier name like FedEx or Deutsche Post. I'm writing the name of the service level, the number of days that the carrier believes it'll take to deliver the package, and then finally what they would charge for that rate set by the local currency. Now in my case, I want to generate a label using the lowest rate available. So I'm just going to write some code that's going to walk the list of rates, sort it by the amount, and then I'm going to get the first and lowest rate that I've been given. Okay, great. So we've created our shipment. We've selected a rate. Let's go ahead and request a label. Similar to the shipments service, there's a transactions service on the SDK object, which is what we'll use to create shipping labels. In this request, we'll specify that we want a PDF that's ready for a 4x6 label printer. We'll add some order ID information just for future reference, and we'll supply the rate that we selected above. And again, once we finish creating our transaction, we'll go ahead and log that object ID to the console. Now, one thing to be aware of, label generation can take a moment to complete. We have the option to wait until the process has completed before it returns the transaction object by specifying that we don't want it to be an asynchronous call. However, in this case, I wanted to show you how async transactions work. After we create our transaction, the returned object will have a status attribute, and we can check that attribute for whether the transaction has completed. If it's queued, we should wait a moment and check again, and that's what we're going to do here. Okay, by this point our transaction has completed successfully and we can download our label. So here, I'm just going to use the HTTPS module to download the PDF to my local downloads folder. And all I'm doing is I'm using the label URL, which is an attribute of that transaction object, which contains the URL that the image or PDF can be downloaded from. And then what I'm going to do is just download that object and write it to the current user's downloads folder. Okay, so I've written a lot of code. Now it's time to see what happens when we actually run this sucker. So I'm going to switch to the debug console and go ahead and F5 debug. And there we go. So we've created our shipment, and there's the object ID that I've logged for that shipment object. You can now see a set of rates. In this case, I'm getting rates from the United States Postal Service, and you'll see I get some service levels like Priority Mail Express, and Ground Advantage, along with the rates that they would charge to deliver this package. Now, in my code's case, I was going to look for the lowest rate available, so I'm going to choose this $4.33 rate for my label. Once I created the transaction, I got my object ID. And then finally, once it finished generating completely, I'd logged that label URL, and then I downloaded it to my local file system. So let's go ahead and open up this PDF and see what we've got. So there we go. So we have a PDF. It's in that 4x6 form factor. And one thing you'll notice is it's got a watermark of sample do not mail. This is because I used a test API key. Again, when you're writing your code for the first time and you're testing it, I strongly recommend that you use a test API key. That way you can verify that your code's paths will work properly without inadvertently generating a label against the carrier and incurring a charge on your Shippo account. Once you feel confident that your code is working properly, then you can switch it over to a production key, and then you're up and running and ready to start generating valid labels. So what did we just do? Well, first, we added a package reference for the Shippo module using npm to get it available to our application. Once we did that, we were then able to create an instance of the Shippo SDK object, and we passed it an API token. And again, in my case, I used the test token that I obtained from the API portal. Once I did that, I was able to create a shipment, passing it the shipper address, the destination address, and then a parcel along with dimensions and the weight. Once I created that shipment object, I was able to look at the list of rates that were made available for that shipment. And incidentally, just like the transaction, shipments by default are not async, whereas transactions are. So it went and gave me the list of rates as part of creating that shipment object. Once I got my rates, I was then able to crawl the list and select the lowest rate available, which I wanted to use for my label. And by the way, in Shippo parlance, label is also called a transaction. And then finally, I was able to write out the label URL that I had for that transaction and use that label URL to download it locally. So what's next? Well, first I recommend go and get a set of Shippo API credentials. If you don't already have a Shippo account, you can navigate to apps.goshippo.com/join and create one. Once you've done that, you're able to go to the API portal and create a set of tokens. And again, I recommend generate a test token for active development and testing, and only when you're ready to start incurring charges on your account should you generate a production API token. If you want to look at the code that we did for this video today, just go to our GitHub repo at github.com/goshippo, and it's under the Shippo JavaScript SDK demo. It's a public URL, so you can get access to it. And if you want to learn more about the Shippo API, I recommend you go to our documentation site. If you go to docs.goshippo.com, you can read about all the other capabilities of the Shippo API, way more than we were able to go over in this very short video. Thank you very much for watching, and we look forward to helping you meet your shipping needs.